hello again, hello again, hello again. I consider you guys now friends because you're now tuning in and watching our Reclaiming Lives series. This series is supposed to be really authentic, really unscripted, unedited kind of version on what we look like, what we feel like, what we are like, and providing life saving and life changing services to folks. We're a capital area reentry program. We are a holistic health, harm reduction, and prevention organization. So, throughout Reclaiming Lives, you'll hear our stories as staff, as volunteers, as community members. You'll hear different harm reduction strategies. You'll see different programmatic things, and we just really want to give light to darkness. And drug use is darkness, and so we want to provide light in the situation, in these occasions. Doing this work is heavy lifting, especially on the psyche and the mental of even the staff, let alone the participants. And so, again, we call each other guests. So we serve our guests. And so when you come here, you are our guest. And we want to provide you information on who we are, and let you know that we are the same as you, all collective, all knowing, looking forward to a better life. And so all I'm going to say is continue to tune in because you never know where we're going to go and what we're going to talk about in relation to harm reduction and prevention. So I'll leave you with this. Our tagline, our program name, be safe.
So, tell everyone who you are.
Okay, I'm Mikayla Nepper, and I do the intercity mobile unit, different areas in Baton Rouge. We go to about 5 different, actually about, let's see, about 6 different areas in Baton Rouge right now. 3 of them, we stay there all day, and the other 2 we're just mobile, go around the area.
Okay, so tell me about the mobile unit. What goes on with the mobile unit?
Okay, with the mobile unit, like I said, when we get to those areas, those 3 areas, we stay there all day and we service the people in that area. Most of them are unsheltered individuals, and so they come up, they get their supplies, we talk to them for a little while, and then they leave.
What are the supplies that you're giving them?
The supplies that we hand out are syringes, condoms, and Narcan, lots of Narcan.
Would you say
And that is to keep from the spreading of disease like hepatitis C, HIV, etc. It's to cut down on all the spread of all of those diseases.
Many people will say you're disabling and you're enabling.
I know that they do say that, and it can be construed as that, but at the same time, they are already doing what they're doing, and they're going to continue to do what they do until they get ready to get clean, and go to detox and rehab. And we are all sober. Me and my coworker, my partner, we have been clean for quite some time, and so they know this, and so whenever they start the process of getting ready to go to decide to go to detox, they talk to us about it, and finally they'll go. The whole purpose of this program is for them to eventually get into detox and rehab.
What was your drug of choice?
My drug of choice? I'm a multiple drug user. I did heroin, I also did cocaine, and then prescription drugs like Adderall and Xanax. And pain pills were prescribed to me.
Tell us a little bit about your journey.
As far as what?
Where it all began.
Where it all began? Well, I mean, I grew up in New Orleans and here in Baton Rouge. I grew up in both. I was here during the week in New Orleans on weekends, all the way up from birth until my 30s. I actually went to college. I have 2 degrees. I have a degree in clinical psych and business administration. And so, I did that from 1990 to 1995. and then I went back to school for the business administration in 2000 to 2001. During that time, I was also taking care of both my parents that were. It's fine, they know. Taking care of both of my parents that were. They had one of them had cancer. My adopted father had cancer, and my adopted mother had degenerative diabetes, and they eventually deceased. So I took care of them for 13 years actually total. 11 years for my father and 13 for my mother. And so I did that while I was going to school. And then after that, I don't know, I worked at various social work agencies. I stepped out of social work for a while, went to manage Chili's, and then got back into it.
When were the drugs introduced?
When were the drugs introduced?
Mm-hmm.
I started off getting prescribed pain medicine whenever I was a teenager. I was 16. No, 17. 17 whenever I started taking pain medicine. I had gotten in my second bad wreck, and they were prescribing on pain pills, and I'd already had back issues before the wreck even happened. So between that and I was prescribed Adderall and Xanax for my ADHD. So it just went from there. It started out with that, but a couple years later it got, it's easy to get addicted to pain medicine. Very easy. So.
How did you get off? What did you do? What were some of the steps you took? You said heroin.
Oh, I just woke up one day and decided I wasn't going to do it anymore, and I went to Capital Area, our main office people, and Dr. Jan, she started the Suboxone program, and I went into the Suboxone program right when she started it. And that's how I got off of it. I still take Suboxone. That was in 2018, and I still take Suboxone even now because I have pain issues.
So tell me about the Suboxone. What happens with the Suboxone? Lots of people say that is a form of addiction as well.
It's not. You can't get high off of it. It has naloxone in it, which is the same thing as what Narcan is. So you can't get high off of it. I mean, it's made out of opiates and naloxone. So you just cannot get high off of it. And then you can actually give it to somebody that uses heroin to get, if you don't have naloxone around, you can give them a Suboxone and they'll start puking up the opiates out of their system and stuff, whatever. They go into rapid detox is what it's called.
So detoxing for you, many relapses?
No, not at all.
What's your advice to someone that is watching today, tonight, or whenever they're watching? What would be your advice on what you're doing here, from the mobile unit to being I hate to say the word addict, but a user at one time yourself? What advice would you give someone looking at you right now, trying to decide whether they should go out and buy that bag, whether they should go out and get that hit? What advice would you have to them today?
I can't speak for anybody else at all. Everybody has their own journey with that. Just whenever they decide, while they're using, just to stay as healthy as possible, try to stay as healthy as possible. And then whenever they get ready, do it. And it can take 10 or 15 times. It took me about 9 or 10 times before, I finally got it. So.
You said before you finally got it, was it incident? Was it something in particular?
No, it's not. It wasn't because of my background in social work. I just woke up one day and said I had enough, and so that was it.
What's a typical day in your life right now?
A typical day? I don't know. I work here like 8-9 hours a day, and after that, I go home and watch TV and stuff now. I feel like an old person, but that's what I do now.
Why this? Why carp? Why give the 8 and 9 hours to carp?
I've been doing social services for so long. Like I said, I like giving back to the community. I see the help that it does. I've seen, we've had quite a few people go into detox and get themselves in rehab and stuff, and they thank us for being there for them, just for being there. Because it's whenever, especially once they hit the street, whatever trauma happened to them was apparently worse than the street. So there's a lot for them to deal with, and then they don't trust people. It takes a while for them to trust people. So it's a long journey for quite a few people, you know.
What are some of the areas the mobile unit goes?
We go to the Sherwood Forest Boulevard area. We go on the other side by like O'Neill Lane, that area over there. We go off by Segan Lane area. We go to Tigerland area and Highland Road.
Is there any rise in one area? Any particular?
It stays about
area?
the same level.
Repeat people?
Yeah,
People that you
yeah.
see?
It usually stays about the same level.
Do you have any words for the government? For the people that run our states? The people that
The multi-headed snake. One side needs to quit dealing, and the other side needs to start giving rehabs more money.
you feel that's needed? A
Yeah,
lot here in Baton Rouge?
yeah. That's just federal. That's just nationwide.
You mentioned unsheltered. Are a lot of the people that come to the mobile unit, are they unsheltered?
Yes, they are. Yes. Good majority of them are.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
I am 52.
Married?
No, single.
Children?
No.
So you would get up and do this for the rest of your life?
I mean, I raised my best friend's 2 kids from the time they were born until they got into middle schools, but I don't have children.
And this is something you could do for the rest of your life?
Yeah, I've did this for 5 years so far.
I'm going to ask the hard question. Any chance of relapse?
I don't think so.
How do you ensure that?
I have a support circle around me that I can call when I need to, and plus I still own Suboxone, so.
Is there anything you want to add or anything you want to say?
Not at all. I'm good.
What is the process of receiving the products?
They come up to us, or well, we kind of reach out to people, but yeah, if they hear about us or whatever, they would come up to us and we fill out an intake for them. And that's it. That's all they have to do.
So the intake form is more for statistics, or is it something?
Yeah, it's for statistical data, and no names are mentioned.
That's such a nice smile.
Thank you.
Tell everyone who you are.
My name is Alfredo, and I am an employee here at CART BR.
So what do you do at CART?
We are a harm reduction organization. Okay. We're a harm reduction organization, so we have a SSP program, a safe syringe program, that we offer to our guests here. It is, clean needles, cookers, tie-offs, everything they need for, safe usage. We also offer STD testing and linkage to care.
So your job is taking intake when they come in?
I do intake when they come in. I also am doing right now, I'm calling guests and who have tested positive for hepatitis C and getting them linked to care, setting up their appointments, making sure that they have access to their health care that they need.
So for those that are watching that may not know about hepatitis C or Hep C, give us a little insight.
Well, I can give personal insight. I had hepatitis C, as well as I'm HIV positive as well. It affects your liver. pretty much eats it from the inside. So I contracted it from needle use. I was deep in my addiction at the time, and I had went to a, what is that called? Where I donated some plasma, and they had let me know, I had tested positive, and from there I was linked to care. This was in Florida. I was linked to care, and they gave me some medication. It was about 3 pills a month, or 3 pills a day for 3 months, and now it's all clear.
That diagnosis.
Hmm.
Tell me your reaction.
Well, it was it was overwhelming because I got both of them at the same time. So it was scary. I didn't know what to think. I didn't know what was going to happen. I didn't know what everything meant as far as hepatitis C and what that would affect on my body. I knew that my HIV diagnosis was very scary. I wasn't very well informed about everything that we have to offer now, such as PrEP and PEP and all those good things for prevention. And I was terrified. But I had a good provider who talked everything out with me and made me feel comfortable. And we got on the medication, and I've been Hep C free for a year now. I am also been undetectable for about the same amount of time for my HIV.
Calling people and giving them news such as what you do.
Mm-hmm.
You get a lot of reactions, different reactions.
Well, I deal with people who have already known that they're positive. So I'm there just like to offer them the care and comfort, and also to let them know that I've been there. I know what it's like, and that they don't really need to worry. As long as they know their status, and there's people out here that care for them and want to help them.
For the people who will watch this and say, you're just enabling, you're just making it easier, what do you have to say to them?
I have to say that they don't see it from an addict's point of view or from really a healthcare point of view, because we're stopping a lot of disease transmission. We're helping a lot of people get, informed about how to do things correctly when you're using the right ways to where to hit yourself, or clean and sterile supplies. Out there, they can injure themselves. I've had friends who have lost limbs, fingers, due to infections. So it's not about enabling. It's about meeting them where they're at and helping them. And then when they're ready, we have all the stuff that they need to take that on. Whether it's treatment, AA, which I do every day. I go to meetings. It's a great way to meet people here.
So your drug of choice was intravenous?
It was intravenous crystal meth.
And what was that like getting off of that? Tell us a little bit about your journey to recovery.
It's a long journey. I was raised in Florida, Tampa, Florida, in the projects. Poor family, stuff like that. I had a lot of family members that drank heavily. There was a little bit of abuse in the house. And I got started using drugs I had been raped at like the age of 13. And I used drugs to help me cope with that, to escape. So it was hard. As a gay man, my father didn't understand who I was. Being Hispanic man, the very machismo. So it was difficult growing up and not being able to talk to anybody, not being able to tell them how I felt. I felt very alone, very isolated. So I used. And that lasted almost 25, 30 years. It took me to some very dark places. I started, using intravenously. became homeless. I did sex work, ended up being trafficked at some point, held against my will and forced to do things that I didn't want to do, but I escaped that. And I found, that there were people out there to help. Once I went into a treatment facility, that people actually cared. I had great caseworkers who helped me find long-term care. I went to a long-term treatment care for 8.5 months, which was essential in my recovery. I came out from treatment. I started working a program of AA and NA. I found a sponsor, and I met some really amazing people in the rooms of AA and NA. And actually, one of my coworkers is in it as well. It's essential for people to know that there is help out there, and we're here. Anything that you need, it's just, even if it's a shoulder to cry on, and we know what it's like. We've been there.
Do you have relationships with your family today?
I do. I have a wonderful relationship with my family. I just saw them when we all went to Florida for our harm reduction convention. They came up and they saw me, and plan on going back for Christmas. Life is completely different today, and it was because of people like this in these type of careers that really helped when I needed that help.
If there's something you could say today with the camera on you to anyone that may be struggling, that's going to watch this, what can you say? What can you offer them today?
I want to tell you, you're not alone. We are here for you. Reach out to any of your community services that you need. There is AA, there's NA, there's treatment centers everywhere. There are a lot of places out there where people feel just like you do, and all you need to do is reach out. We'll be there for you.
Was there one driving factor in your life that turned that switch on for you to make the decision?
Yeah, I had been in a hotel room for days, and I just got out of jail. I had just finished using, and I looked at myself in the mirror and I didn't recognize myself. I was about 55 pounds lighter than I am right now. I was sickly, and I was sick. I had diseases that I wasn't taking care of. I wasn't doing anything to better myself, and I wanted to die. Then I had this little voice inside that said, "You're worth it." And the next day I took myself to treatment.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'm glad that there are places like this for people out there who need it. I'm the baby here. I've only been here a few months, but this work is near and dear to my heart. I'm grateful to have it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
This Christmas came late. I know it's hard to take. Let me make up for this day. 'Cause ooh, child, things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. And I know you've been through a lot, so much pain it won't stop. Feel like your heart is shocked. Feel like I'm stuck in a glass, suffocating.